We're making some delicious barbecue chicken sandwiches with my famous slaw. I say famous because it's famous around here amongst our friends and family, but this whole sandwich together is absolutely incredible. And if you love a classic pulled barbecue, like a pulled pork, something like that, you'll love this recipe. I'm using chicken, so it's quicker to make. I think it's a little friendlier. It's not as I find that it's not as intimidating, and it comes together within an hour, which is amazing. So if you're having people over for 4th of July, you can make these and they're fantastic. You can make this in a slow cooker, in which case you would add every single thing here to a slow cooker and cook it on slow for 8 hours. I, however, I'm not gonna do that. So the first thing I've got is a pot here with some aromatics. I've got some onion that I just cut in half, a few cloves of garlic, peppercorn, and salt. Up to a simmer, because this has been simmering a few minutes, and this is my poaching liquid. My meat of choice is going to be boneless, skinless chicken thighs that I've trimmed. You can also use breast, although I find breast to be quite dry, and I don't think you get the same sort of succulent, delicious barbecue sandwich that you deserve, if you will. I'm gonna cook these gently for about 20-25 minutes until they'll fully cook through, and they'll be really nice and tender and perfect to shred. So once that's there, I'll cook them, I'll shred them, and I'll have them ready. And in the meantime, all I'm gonna do is take the other half of my onion, thinly slice it, and then I have everything ready to make my pulled barbecue chicken sandwiches. That's a mouthful. My chicken's fully cooked through. I went ahead and just shredded it with my hands, discarded any big pieces of fat. Now I've got my pan here preheating with a little bit of olive oil to it. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the other half of the sliced onion. Keep in mind, I'm only making a small batch of the pulled chicken just because I don't need that much, just for the 4 of us this evening. However, the coleslaw I'm making like what I would call like a full batch, which is like a standard 14-ounce bag of pre-shredded coleslaw. So you'll likely have extra coleslaw if you're only making about 2 pounds of the chicken. But the coleslaw is just delicious, and you'll eat it alongside anyway. Make yourself some corn on the cob, and it's like a perfect all-American summer meal. I'm gonna go ahead and just saute these until they soften, and then we'll add in our chicken. Onions look great. I'm gonna go ahead and add in my chicken. Give that a nice little stir. I'm gonna go ahead and season it. This is just some like generic barbecue seasoning. You can just use equal parts garlic, onion, smoked paprika, and you're good to go. I'm just gonna use that because I have it and I like it and it smells good and it makes my life a little bit easier. Add that in. Now to this, you're gonna add barbecue sauce of your choice, okay? If you want to do a smoky barbecue sauce, do a smoky barbecue sauce. If you want to do a spicy one, do a spicy one. A couple dashes of Worcestershire, a little bit of brown sugar. This just, trust me, you don't have to just trust the process. A little bit of apple cider vinegar for tang. And then we're going to add yellow mustard. All this together works incredibly well. Salt. Then the poaching liquid we use, which by the way, just look at the color. It's spectacular. Don't throw this out. Strain it. Look at the color. Strain it and freeze it. You've got good chicken stock on hand. I'm going to add a ladleful of that in there because I want things to be saucy. Maybe 2 ladlefuls because I want this to simmer for a bit. And do 1 more ladleful. It'll look liquidy at first, but you kind of want that because you want it to have plenty of liquid to simmer and that chicken to just really become succulent and gorgeous. And I'm gonna just do that by placing a lid on it, letting it go on like medium low. And in the meantime, I'm gonna clean up really quickly. We'll put together the slaw, so that's done. And then that's pretty much it. Let's make the coleslaw. We love this coleslaw. My friends and family are obsessed with this coleslaw. It's kind of like a go-to for us. It's perfect. It's not really sweet. It's not super tangy. It's got a perfect balance. I've got some mayo and I've got some yellow mustard. To it, I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar. Not much, just a little bit of sugar. I'm gonna offset that with vinegar. You can use apple cider or like a white wine vinegar. Then I'll do a mixture of celery salt and granulated onion and garlic. I also added a pinch of salt. And I'm gonna go ahead and give this a really nice mix. Now, this is the point where taste it as you go. Make it your own. If you want it really tangy, add more vinegar. If you want it sweeter, add more sugar. My brother-in-law makes his really sweet and it's really delicious. Not something that I do myself because I feel like it's limiting. When it's too sweet, it's hard to balance with other things. I think, again, personally, 2 tablespoons of sugar is more than enough for 2 tablespoons of vinegar because you get sweetness and you get tanginess. You get both. It's a perfect balance. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this. Oh, it's so good. So delicious. Pour that over coleslaw. This is just 1 bag of standard classic coleslaw mix, which is about 14 ounces. Sometimes they'll come in 14-ounce bags, sometimes 1-pound bags. And if you get a 1-pound bag, just adjust the mayo a bit. I like using a full cup, so maybe a cup and a quarter. And just use, judgment for how much more sugar or vinegar you want to add. You might not want to add any additional because this is pretty perfect as is. I'm going to switch to my spoon. And that is just so perfect. I love it. You can use yellow mustard like I like to do because I find it to be the tangiest, or you can also use Dijon or whole grain mustard. It's perfect. This does need to sit a bit, and then before I serve it, I'm gonna hit it with some chopped chives, but it's perfect. All right, I've got my chives. I'm gonna add them to my slaw. My chicken is ready. It smells insane, and I just want you to see how glorious, sticky, thick, saucy it is. It's really spectacular. So if you are someone who wants to host and you don't feel like dealing with the grill when it's 90 degrees outside, you can go ahead and make this instead of a classic, pulled pork, and it's just sublime and delicious and affordable because you're using dark meat chicken. It's just really, really delicious. I love it so much. It's such a great go-to recipe, and you'll love it. Now, depending on, your preferences, you might want to serve this on its own with some sides, or if you want to do sandwiches, may I just suggest a gorgeous brioche roll. You can toast these if you want to. I'm not a toasty person. You can. I mean, obviously, that's what life is all about. Having options and choices to do whatever it is that you want. But I am not a toasted bun kind of person. Not for this. I do like a big old dollop of my slaw because that's just how I'll roll. And look at this. Look at that. In under an hour, which we love, things get like saucy and delicious, and I just can't wait. So give me a second because I'm gonna burn myself. Oh my gosh. You know what? I hate to say this, but this is the last video you're gonna see from me because this cannot be topped, so I cannot make any more recipes. I'm kidding. It's delicious, it's tangy, it's sweet, it's succulent, it's juicy, it's got everything I love. It's perfectly blended together into a mouthful of just euphoria. Go to laurainthekitchen.com for the written recipe. Hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.